Hey guys, this is Deni as always. You know, sometimes you just want to kill monsters. No quests, no complicated plot twists, no puzzles. Just killing monsters, no extra stuff. Take out loot, pump up your character, and enjoy the process. I personally periodically attacked by such a desire, and I certainly tried everything in this genre, so today I will show you a bunch of the best games where you can just enjoy it, both the popular ones and the not so popular ones. Click on the like, click on subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go. Do you miss adrenaline and dynamic gameplay? The perfect place to get it all? Good old Crossout. Tense battles, dozens of different vehicles, and hundreds of parts for their customization are waiting for you. You can make a powerful, bulletproof tank and destroy your enemies just by the look of it. Or make something smaller, but fast, and get in the back of unsuspecting enemies. In any case, Crossout is the best place to show everyone who is a real pro. Download the game at the link in the description. Let's start with Last Epoch, Diablo-inspired game, in which farming along with character upgrading goes to a new level. Of course, yes, here you, as well as everywhere else you need to create a character, go to beat mobs, pump up, and so on. But the game, also fueled by good graphics and a huge variability in terms of build, at least because here each skill has its own branch of talents. Some of them will toss damage, others will modify the work of this skill, or completely remake it altogether. The point is that thanks to this, you will be able to collect the most unusual character. In general, cool game. For Warhammer fans, there is something interesting too, the Inquisitor, Martyr, who was shoved into an action RPG like Diablo. If what today will be not only Diablo-like games, don't worry, in general you are waiting for a familiar universe with a good company and a mountain of content, let me tell you right up front that the game has 1.5 billion DLC, but you should buy only 2. These are Mechanicus and Sororitas. Everything else can be bought for in-game farming. Many different classes, a lot of content, and suddenly destructibility awaits you. Not full of course, but in any case, it's nice to watch everything fall apart. The game itself may seem a bit boring at first, because of about the same locations at first, but otherwise not bad. Stats can be flipped, plus seasons are also there. You can fly in on them. All in all, a really good thing, especially if you are a fan. And this is Outriders, which I personally got at a 75% discount. Outriders is something like Destiny, but with a little more emphasis on classes and magic, and from the third person. In the story, you are one of the last pioneers, and are gifted with superpowers. After being frozen in a cryo chamber, 30 years have passed. After getting out, we witness how life on the planet has deteriorated in our absence. And from that moment, the whole gameplay begins. And from the very nice features that farm and pump endlessly, you can together with your friends. In cooperative, up to 3 people. Classes really not very much, only 4, but modifications and enhancements of various very much. So there will be a place to go wild. Actually, you could add Tarkov here, but why if there is a very attractive analog in the form of Marauders, where you go on sorties to farm stuff, but only somewhere in space in the world of Dieselpunk? The game feels great, and the main thing is that you can also play in co-op. In general, it looks like this. You equip yourself, go to some space mission, and then race there in search of different loot. You fight mobs, collect loot, but the funny thing is that other players do the same thing too, and so you can cross paths a lot, and there survival of the fittest. Well, and loot all also collects the strongest. All in all, I think it's a great thing. And this game is not beautiful, it's just terrible, because the farming in Black Desert is legendary. Who suddenly does not know, it is a MMORPG with a huge set of different character classes, where you can take a character and go to his endlessly pump and dress, and the word infinite is a real word. You can't really reach some kind of cap, because it's not here at all. Not in terms of levels, not in terms of gear. In order to reach the current content, you will need to live in the game with half a year or even a year. Farm for hours on end, dress up, pump up, and only then, you may be able to catch up with the average layer of players. To plus minus tops to get to, your chances are nil because many people in BDO just live 24/7, but nevertheless get high from the game can. Just like Destiny 2. Here you will also be waiting for MMO, but already MMO FPS, which is much more dynamic and with a little less amount of farming, although you will still have to run through dungeons in search of loot. The game itself, unlike BDO, is divided into seasons. In BDO, of course, they are also kind of there, but there it is not particularly tied to the overall content, but here just such a thing. Seasons are determined by where the plot has reached, what is the current cap, and what weapons you have conventionally, and weapons here from season to season differ dramatically, especially unique ones, and sometimes in order to find what was a couple seasons ago, farming and doing daily tasks need a very long time. Nevertheless, shooting and especially in PvP, here you can get tons of fun, at least I do. In general, there are not so many games that are both on PC and mobile at once. From the popular, it is Torchlight Infinite, and just this Undecember, you are waiting for a game like Diablo, about as much beautiful and diverse. The only thing is that in terms of donation, the developers took a wrong turn at first, and when you reach the high-level content, it was simply impossible to play without donation. Now this moment is solved, and the developers are moving in the right direction on the game. That's why its reviews are growing up. And about the game. Farming, mountains of loot, and pumping. Well, and you can play with one account, both on the PC and on your phone, which is convenient. But Diablo IV has no such feature, and on mobiles, instead of bringing some graphically reduced version of the game, they rolled out a dumpy Immortal. Although, it's not really dumpy, but it's on smartphones, so we'll give a dick about it today. Diablo IV, on the other hand, is a dud. On the one hand, you can fly through the story, get high on the game, and safely put your huge bolt on it, like I did. But some people still go further and start droning high-level content, which here, alas, is almost non-existent. And that's sad, because Diablo IV turned out to be really cool, beautiful, bloodthirsty, and with not bad story, but absolutely just completely empty and boring as soon as the plot ended. That's why everyone safely forgot about it. Let's touch upon the theme of Path of Exile, then definitely it is necessary to say a couple of words about this beautiful game, especially when on the threshold, we are waiting for a slow but quite confident hype in the form of the second part. Yes, of course, the test will start in summer, but considering that the developers are in no hurry, you can make a perfect game. Yes, it is important for them to make the second part better than the first in order to keep online. Do not hit in the mud and keep the amount of money that creates the first. Well, for those who suddenly never touched the creation, it is a game seasonal, where each new season in the game imported different unique content that will help you dress up and collect a bad character build before the season ends, and you will be thrown out on the general server. Visually, the game is cool, each blow on enemies gives pleasure, well, and more for such a game and do not need. You know what though? Warframe battles aren't exactly tons of fun, although it probably depends on the build. Killing millions of mobs while you're looking for the right piece of a conditional weapon or something else is the ultimate hemorrhoid. This is especially true when you are a little more immersed in the game and understand what kind of build you need at first. Make friends with the local, a little strange but generally convenient auction system. Here under this, in general, made a separate site, but the buzz to catch you start at the very moment when the build is already drawn and you can, for example, generally stand in the middle of the map with capsule defense, do not move, and kill all the mobs that are crowded on you run. Variability of builds, given that the game is not 1 year, there is a lot, and some just with a head change, the mechanics of different characters. In short, Warframe is a whole universe, and to understand it, you will need more than 100 hours of gameplay. Otherwise, it's very cool. I wonder if they will ever make a second part. A few words about Grim Dawn. At first I thought that I should replace it with, for example, the same conditional Titan quest, especially taking into account the fact that the second part is being made there. But there is no information about the second, and the first is somehow not a wild farming game. It's more like just a lamp. But Grim Dawn is, yes, it is the very thing. You create a character, make a multi-class of 2 classes at once, run around the world, and kill enemies. It's long, painful, but fun. Especially a lot of fun will be when you get some DLC. With them, the game opens up even more. To say that MMORPGs are those still farming games, I think it's silly, but there is one leader among them which a little bit brings it all to the sand pedestal. Yes, it's that sandbox MMORPG where you can be anything you want to be, from a merchant who races around the world with his friends and tries to earn dough, to the leader of the scum who seeks out such merchants and squeezes their dough. There are no classes, but there is a giant-sized talent ring. Well, it's like a branch of talents, but it looks like a ring. And the main thing is pumped solely from the actions you perform. Well, and how much you need to farm to pump, earn, and develop, it is generally death. But by the way, from the cool, you can play with one account as on the PC and on the phone too. It's nice. And so for today, we are with you kind of finished. I hope you found something interesting for yourself, and therefore clicked and on the like and on the subscription too. I'm with you as always, Deni, and have a good day.